Imagine lying down on your pillow and feeling your entire body relax as your mind quiets. At that moment, the only concern you set aside is the roller coaster that is your blood sugar levels. Today's proposal is simple and direct. There is a way to take advantage of this period of rest to further balance your health and wake up the next day feeling more energized and at ease. Some people believe that controlling glucose requires only focusing on endless medications and measurements. But the truth is that there are much more pleasant and natural resources that can make all the difference, especially before bedtime. What if this combination of good nighttime habits were accompanied by timeless wisdom that aids not only the body, but also the mind? That is exactly what Stoic philosophy offers. It's not about solving everything all at once, but about recognizing that small actions can create a huge impact in our daily lives. Can you imagine the relief of realizing that you don't need to spend so much time worrying about insulin spikes or the possibility of waking up already tired due to glucose spikes? While the world sleeps, a simple nighttime ritual, not requiring significant expenses or exotic routines, can soothe not just your glucose, but also the anxiety that often surrounds those managing diabetes. It is in those hours when many people have turned off the lights that some almost magical drinks step into the limelight with their simplicity. Along with them comes a reinforcement of calm and acceptance that Stoic philosophy has been teaching for centuries. There is no complicated discourse or nonsensical theory. It is the idea that we can embrace the present as it is, without drama, without self-sabotage, and act more centered in the face of the ups and downs that come with any health condition. It's just about allowing some tasty and healthy habits to be part of the routine while the mind learns to calm itself. Some may think that chamomile tea is something old-fashioned, or that it's only for calming fussy babies. But the reality is that this delicate, perfumed tea has appeared in serious studies showing benefits beyond the expected. Many people drink chamomile thinking only of its calming effect, unaware that it can also help stabilize blood sugar levels. In many parts of the world, this plant has been used for countless generations as a natural remedy for sleep issues, irritations, and even stomach aches. It's no wonder that, throughout the centuries, entire families have trusted this flower to bring more peace to their bodies and minds. And who would have thought that among its many uses, it could also help with glycemic control? The best part is that there is no complicated secret to preparing this tea. Just boil a quantity of water, add dried chamomile flowers, or even tea bags found everywhere. Cover for a few minutes, and voila. Some people prefer to drink it unsweetened, others like to add a touch of cinnamon. The most important thing is to keep chamomile as the focal point, since it contains anti-inflammatory substances that may help protect the body from chronic inflammation, often associated with glucose fluctuations. And if taken before bed, it can also aid in achieving deeper sleep, which, in itself, supports the health of those needing to keep blood sugar in check. It's essential to emphasize that quality rest is crucial for hormonal balance, and many have noticed that more restful sleep directly reflects in their results the following day. Furthermore, when rest improves, the mind tends to be calmer too, helping to reduce the anxiety that sometimes accompanies every glucose measurement. Even before bedtime, there is another trick that often brings benefits: apple cider vinegar. It may sound strange to think of vinegar as something to drink, but there are plenty of reports and research showing that a simple mixture of 1 tablespoon in a glass of water can improve insulin sensitivity, which helps keep blood sugar in check. In many ancient cultures, apple cider vinegar was welcomed with open arms as a great ally for the stomach and metabolism. Besides being used in salads and marinades, it has always been associated with internal cleansing effects and bodily balance. And it's not something new. There are well-documented records of ancient peoples who valued apple cider vinegar for various health purposes, particularly for being a liquid rich in organic acids and antioxidants. Of course, nobody wants to drink vinegar straight. The idea here is to dilute it well in water. And for those who can't get used to the taste, it's worth trying a little trick. Mix it with a bit of natural lemon juice, or even a gentle tea without sugar. Over time, the palate tends to accept this small ritual better. What may start as a sacrifice can eventually become a natural choice when you realize that glucose stabilizes better, and the next day, there is a bit more energy. For many people, this method comes right after dinner or near bedtime, as a way to help the body process what was consumed throughout the day. Some swear that this small nighttime habit acts as a shield to prevent sudden sugar spikes during the night. Many have never heard of mulberry leaf tea, but it's one of those little secrets circulating in popular wisdom that can be transformed into a great ally against the highs and lows of glucose. The taste is usually mild and pleasant, sometimes with a light sweetness that surprises first-time drinkers. Historically, in various regions of the world, these leaves have always been considered helpful for regulating blood sugar and also for a range of other benefits, such as improving digestion and providing antioxidant action, helping to protect the body's cells from oxidative stress. In certain communities, mulberry leaves are almost a symbol of family care, passed down through generations as a natural alternative for assisting with various health problems. To prepare the tea, simply boil the water and add the dried leaves, letting them steep for a few minutes. You can find mulberry leaves at health food stores or even dry them at home if there is a mulberry tree nearby. Traditionally made, this tea has often been offered as an act of kindness to those needing to care for both body and mood. And, when consumed close to bedtime, it can become part of a moment of rest, where a person disconnects from daily stresses and enjoys the benefits that mulberry leaves can provide for glycemia. A simple ritual, with no elaborate preparations and no great expense, that can make a difference in how refreshed one feels upon waking. After all, stabilizing blood sugar is not just about physical health. It's also about having more energy and mental clarity to tackle the activities of the following day. While all this is happening on the practical side, the mental pillar often gets overlooked amidst recipes and drink tips. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in with its subtlety and depth. Contrary to what many believe, Stoicism is not about swallowing your feelings or living coldly. It's about accepting what happens in the world and within us without creating dramas that only increase tension. For those living with diabetes, this serenity is a treasure. How many times does anxiety hit hard when the glucose meter points to elevated numbers, or when doubt arises about whether the diet was followed correctly? Stoicism invites us to observe the situation as it is, without denying reality or torturing ourselves over it. If there is something that can be done, we do it. If not, there's no point in wasting energy feeding guilt or anger. Instead of feeling frustrated over the inability to eat certain foods without limits, Stoicism proposes a shift in perspective, to see restriction as a tool for care, a way to maintain long-term well-being. It's not an arbitrary prohibition, but a means of exercising self-control. Philosophers like Seneca understood that, in the face of challenges, we have the chance to grow in virtue, patience, and clarity. When he mentioned that illness can be a challenge, he was not romanticizing pain, but showing that every obstacle awakens in us the possibility of becoming stronger. Acceptance does not mean conforming. It means opening our eyes to what is happening and finding a wiser, more effective response. For someone with diabetes, this could mean looking at the meter and instead of worrying, asking themselves, what can I do now to improve my condition? Or what choices in my daily life can make these numbers more satisfactory? One practical tip that many modern Stoicism practitioners adopt is to do a quick meditation before sleeping. This doesn't mean sitting in a lotus position or doing something complicated. It simply involves silencing your mind, observing your breathing, letting thoughts pass without clinging to each one, and if you wish, reflecting on the day in a straightforward manner. It could be something like asking yourself, did I do my best today to care for my health? Or at what moments did I give in to impulses that aren't good for my body? And then, without harsh self-judgment, acknowledge the mistakes, appreciate the successes, and resolve to continue the next day with the same or greater determination. This small nighttime exercise helps to ease the mind, slow the heart, and create a more conducive internal environment for rest. And when the mind rests in peace, the body tends to respond better, including in blood sugar control. It is not always given the proper importance that anxiety and stress can disrupt health just as much as poor nutrition. Stress spikes often trigger bodily reactions that can wreak havoc on glycemia. Therefore, adopting a Stoic perspective can be almost like putting on mental armor. Not an armor that prevents feeling, but one that filters situations better, preventing everything from becoming a problem larger than it needs to be. It's a way to shield the emotional state from unnecessary waves of worry. It's normal to feel apprehensive or even indignant when faced with an obstacle. The key is not to prolong this state, not to let it govern daily choices. Remembering this, especially before going to sleep, can make the difference between a tense night filled with restless thoughts and a rejuvenating night of restful sleep. For this reason, it's worth trying to combine all of these elements. Choose one of these nighttime beverages, such as chamomile tea, diluted apple cider vinegar and water, or mulberry leaf tea, while also taking to bed a Stoic concept, like acceptance or focusing on what's within our control. This allows for a small ritual where body and mind work together in harmony. It's not about performing magic. It's about relying on practices that have tradition, research, and logic behind them. Over the weeks, this routine begins to feel like a natural habit. Your palate gets accustomed, your body reacts more positively, and confidence in managing your health gains new momentum. At the end of the day, it is common for many people to get caught up in that cycle of worries. Will my blood sugar spike overnight? Or did I manage to stick to my diet today? With a little practice, this fear gives way to the feeling of having done something tangible to care for oneself. And above all, the confidence that you don't have to live at the mercy of diabetes or any other condition. There are simple solutions within everyone's reach that, when well applied, can truly transform how each new day is approached. So, why not give yourself the chance to try one of these drinks today and see how your body responds? If, by chance, it goes well and you feel some improvement, you may want to continue and even share this with others who also face the challenge of controlling their glucose. If you feel that it's still not enough, remember that any significant change usually takes time to show consistent results. It's that principle of persistence that appears in both health discussions and Stoic principles. Every step, every choice, contributes to long-term growth. There's no point in trying to take a giant leap without a solid foundation. And caring for that foundation involves precisely that: consuming the right drink at the right time, finding a bit of peace before sleeping, and gradually shifting the internal patterns. For those who think introducing these practices is difficult, it's important to remember that any habit starts small. Drinking a cup of chamomile tea, for example, may seem insignificant at first glance. But with repetition, the body begins to prepare to expect that relaxing pause. The mind understands that it's time to slow down, and the metabolism feels supported by substances that help balance glycemia. The same goes for apple cider vinegar and mulberry leaf tea. Constant repetition creates an increasingly easier path to traverse, and within a matter of weeks, you'll hardly imagine the end of the day without that natural support. In this process, sharing experiences can be very helpful. A simple comment can spark a conversation that assists others who are also seeking healthy and effective solutions to improve blood sugar control. After all, when we discover something valuable, the urge to spread the word is almost inevitable. But it is also important to maintain discretion when encouraging others. Just a subtle invitation, a recounting of how things have been working, and those who are curious will naturally take an interest. It's not about imposing, but about inspiring. The crucial point is to understand that living with diabetes doesn't have to be a burden filled with deprivations and fears. It can be an opportunity to develop greater awareness with each meal, to find value in caring for one's own body, and to mature emotionally. Stoic wisdom shows us that obstacles can strengthen us if we know how to face them with serenity, and each of these nighttime rituals is a concrete way to put that idea into practice. When someone chooses to drink their chamomile tea with tranquility, reflecting on the day and accepting what has already passed, they are, in practice, exercising for a more balanced life. For this reason, it's incredibly valuable to pass on the suggestion that this type of care is not frivolous or silly. It's a life strategy that combines the intelligence of the body with the peace of mind that philosophy can provide. Over time, you may notice that glucose measurements start showing more stable results, and that there's more mental clarity to face daily situations. So instead of repeating that there's no way out or that everything is too hard, a lighter yet firm perspective arises, understanding that much of the control is in one's own hands. It's always worth remembering that following health-focused channels and communities, especially those centered around living with diabetes, can open the door to incredible exchanges of knowledge and support. If you feel this content has made a difference or brought you some insight, there's always the possibility to subscribe and leave a comment, not just to continue receiving information, but also to create a bond with those pursuing the same goal. This is the simplest way to keep this topic alive, to learn more, and to contribute to the collective evolution. All this can be done without having to announce it to the four winds. Just a small gesture, a click to subscribe, a comment sharing your experience with chamomile tea or apple cider vinegar, or even mulberry leaves. When it comes time to turn off the lights, remember this final message. The secret isn't in any miraculous, instant solution, but in the sum of small daily actions that lead to continuous improvement. By supporting the body with beverages that regulate glycemia and nurturing the mind with Stoic acceptance, you strengthen the foundation for more stable results and for a life that isn't hostage to constant fluctuations. Ultimately, each time we choose to lay our heads down in peace, we're giving our bodies a chance to recover, our hearts a chance to find calm, and our minds a chance to remember that health can indeed be an ally of tranquility. And it's this mix of practical attitude and inner serenity that gradually brings sugar levels down to safer ranges, making life much more pleasant to live.